In a city that never sleeps, where every streetlight hides a story, some chapters refuse to close. And some voices still whisper through the noise of New York. The trailer opens with the soft hum of the city. Streetlights glow like tiny stars against the dark skyline. A taxi glides through an empty avenue, its headlights cutting across rain-slicked streets. The sound of heels clicking echoes faintly, but the person walking remains unseen. A glass of champagne clinks in slow motion, bubbles rising as if time itself is holding its breath. The voiceover begins, calm but laced with anticipation. They say the city changes every second. But the truth is, some things remain: love, friendship, desire, and the endless search for something more. As the narration unfolds, the camera drifts past familiar places, the Brooklyn Bridge glowing at dawn, Central Park stretching out like a green heart, boutique windows reflecting dazzling designer dresses. Each image is brief, like flashes of memory, reminding the audience that this is not just any city, it's the stage where these stories live and breathe. The visuals slow, focusing on details that feel personal. A handwritten note on a desk with lipstick-stained coffee cups beside it. A close-up of a smartphone buzzing with a text that simply reads, "We need to talk." A train rushes past in the subway, leaving behind an empty platform where a single pair of heels stands abandoned. The voiceover continues, slightly warmer now, hinting at both nostalgia and suspense. The years have passed, but the questions never stopped. Can you really move on from the past? Or does it always find a way back to you? The soundscape swells soft piano keys layered with the rising hum of city noise. Quick cuts show champagne pouring, a cab door slamming, neon lights flickering, and laughter fading into silence. The camera pans upward to the night sky above Manhattan, then cuts to black. Another whisper of narration. This isn't the end of a story. It's the beginning of the next chapter. As the words echo, the visuals burst back sharper, brighter, faster. A close-up of a stiletto heel striking the pavement. A silk dress catching the wind on a rooftop. The faint outline of familiar silhouettes seen from behind, walking side by side down a city block. Their faces remain hidden for now, but their presence is unmistakable. The narration leans into mystery, and just like that, they're back. The screen fades once more. This time leaving only the pulse of city sounds, the faint honk of a horn, the distant chatter of voices, the rhythm of footsteps that never quite stop. The music lingers, haunting and elegant, as if inviting the audience to lean closer, to listen for what comes next. The section closes with the title card flickering faintly in white letters. Season 4, 2026, official trailer begins, and the screen holds still, asterisk. The screen fades from black into the glow of early morning light spilling across Manhattan. The camera glides past a cafe window, where a pair of half-drunk lattes sit abandoned, lipstick smudges marking the cups. A blurred reflection catches the frame familiar, but just out of focus. A soft, thoughtful voiceover begins. Time doesn't stop, not even for us. The city keeps moving, whether we're ready or not. The beat quickens, a door swings open, and Carrie Bradshaw steps into the frame, not fully revealed, but her silhouette outlined against the skyline. Her iconic heels click against the pavement. A close-up of her hand shows a pen scribbling in a leather-bound notebook, her words framed like poetry. What happens when the next chapter begins? Before you're ready to turn the page? The visuals shift like fragments of memory. Miranda strides confidently into a courtroom, her hair catching the sunlight, her face a mask of determination. Papers scatter across her desk, and in one fleeting shot, she leans back, sighing deeply, staring at her phone as if the answers she seeks are just out of reach. The narration dips lower. For some, change means strength. But strength comes with sacrifice. Cut to Charlotte. She's framed in the chaos of a living room scattered with children's toys, but her eyes linger on a mirror across the room. In it, she sees not just a mother, but the woman she once was, still vibrant, still searching. Her laughter at a family dinner turns into a moment of silence. Her gaze drifting somewhere far away, the montage continues, each frame pulsing with emotion. A set of hands clasped tightly under a dinner table, 2 rings glinting in the candlelight. A mysterious new figure appears in a brief flash, their face obscured by shadows, their presence hinting at disruption. A taxi door slams shut, and a message appears on the phone screen. "Meet me at midnight." The music swells, fast, urgent, glamorous. The voiceover sharpens. Friendships are tested. Love takes new forms, and secrets always find their way to the surface. Quick, flashing cuts fill the screen. Carrie laughing breathlessly under twinkling city lights, then turning away with tears in her eyes. Miranda pushing away a glass of wine, her expression torn between resolve and regret. Charlotte clinging to a perfect family portrait, the frame shaking in her hands before she sets it down with trembling fingers. A champagne glass shattering on the floor, liquid spilling like a secret that can't be contained. The sound shifts, soft piano notes underscored by the hum of city traffic. The narration softens, but the weight of it lingers. The city has given them love, heartbreak, victories, and scars. But this time, it won't be enough to just survive. This time, they have to choose who they're willing to become. The pacing slows again, holding on long, intimate moments. Carrie staring at her laptop screen, hesitating before typing a name. Miranda sitting alone in a quiet park, watching strangers pass by, her phone buzzing unanswered. Charlotte adjusting a pearl necklace in the mirror, her hand pausing as if she no longer recognizes the reflection staring back. The frame cuts to black for a breathless pause, then light floods back. The women walk together across a Manhattan street in slow motion. Their faces still unseen, but their energy magnetic, undeniable. The sound of laughter familiar, comforting echoes as the screen pulses with a heartbeat-like rhythm. The voiceover lands with precision. Because life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just keeps happening. And sometimes the only way forward is together. The section closes on a sharp fade to silence. The screen glows with the simple words, "This season." Everything changes. Asterisk, the silence from section 2 breaks with a sudden swell of music low, pulsing like a heartbeat that refuses to calm down. The city no longer feels still or comforting. Instead, it's restless, alive with energy that teeters on the edge of chaos. Sirens echo faintly in the distance, horns cut through the night, and the sound of hurried footsteps fills the void. The screen cuts sharply to flashes of conflict. A wine glass slamming down on a table, liquid spilling across white linen. A hand gripping another's arm too tightly. A door closing with a final, echoing thud. The voiceover begins again, sharper, almost urgent now. In a city that gives everything, it can just as easily take it all away. The pace quickens. Carrie is seen standing alone on a rooftop at night, the wind pulling at her coat. Her phone lights up with an unknown caller ID, and her eyes widen. Fear, hope, uncertainty, all flickering in an instant. The frame cuts before the audience sees her answer. Miranda appears next, mid-argument in a dimly lit apartment. Her voice isn't heard, but the tension in her gestures says it all, her hands thrown into the air. Her face red with emotion, the silence of the trailer making her outburst feel even louder. The screen cuts to her storming away, slamming a door behind her. Charlotte's scene contrasts sharply. She sits at a lavish dinner, pearl necklace perfectly in place, her smile practiced, but her eyes tell another story. The camera lingers on the slight tremble of her hand as she sets down a wine glass. Across the table, her husband or perhaps someone new stares back with an expression unreadable. The silence stretches, thick with unspoken words. The narration returns, a whisper layered over the rising music. Every secret finds a voice. Every lie finds the light. And every love is tested. The visuals explode into rapid flashes. Two people kissing in the back of a taxi, faces hidden in shadows. A handwritten letter being ripped in half. A suitcase slamming shut. A cab pulling away, leaving someone behind on the curb in tears. A mysterious figure walking into a crowded gala, their entrance turning every head. The music swells higher, layered with pounding drums and urgent strings. Carrie reappears, this time running through the rain, mascara streaked, her heels slipping on the slick pavement. The voiceover sharpens, because sometimes the past doesn't stay in the past. Sometimes it returns, demanding answers, a flash of Miranda in court papers scattering, a voice shouting, "Objection!" before cutting to silence. Another of Charlotte throwing open a closet, the camera catching dozens of untouched gowns, her reflection fractured in the mirrored doors. The screen suddenly slows, holding on a single, haunting image, 3 champagne glasses clinking in celebration. But instead of laughter, the moment cuts to the sound of glass shattering. The narration deepens, almost a warning, and just when you think you know where the story is going, the city reminds you it has other plans. The music cuts to near silence. A slow-motion shot reveals Carrie on a dark street, turning suddenly as if someone has called her name. Her expression is one of shock, disbelief. The screen cuts to black before the audience can see who stands there. A single line of narration echoes into the darkness. This season, no one is safe from the truth. The trailer erupts once more, flashes of chaos stitched together in seconds, laughter turning into tears mid-frame. A taxi door left open in the rain. An elevator closing just before someone can step inside. A candlelit dinner, faces tense, forks clattering onto plates. A sudden slap of a palm against a window, desperate, unanswered. The soundscape builds to its loudest, then stops, dead silence. In that silence, the final tease, a single whispered phrase. And just like that, everything changes. The screen fades to black, leaving only the echo of footsteps fading into the distance. The pounding chaos of Section 3 dissolves into silence. The screen is black. For a breath, it feels like the trailer is over. Then slowly a single piano key plays, soft and deliberate, echoing like a memory. The screen flickers to life. We see a slow-motion shot of raindrops hitting a cobblestone street in Manhattan. A pair of heels steps into frame, elegant yet purposeful. The sound of the click echoes as if the whole city has gone quiet to listen. The narration returns. Softer now, steady and deliberate. There comes a moment when the city stops being your backdrop and becomes your reflection. The visuals turn intimate. A hand adjusting a necklace in the mirror. A lipstick tube twisting open. A champagne cork popping in an empty kitchen at midnight. Each image feels personal, almost secret, as if the audience is peeking behind closed doors. Then the music swells, strings layered with a steady drumbeat. Building suspense, Carrie's silhouette appears, standing at her iconic window. She looks out over the glowing cityscape, notebook in hand. She hesitates, pen hovering above the page. The voiceover leans into her words. We chase love, we cling to friendship, we fight for ourselves. But the truth is, the next chapter doesn't ask if we're ready. It just begins. The frame cuts sharply. Miranda is shown walking into a packed courtroom, heads turning as she enters. Charlotte, framed in her home, looks at her family with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. Quick flashes of new faces, a stranger laughing with Carrie at a party, a mysterious text lighting up a phone, an unexpected kiss in the shadows of a taxi. The voiceover deepens. And sometimes, the story you thought you were living is only the prologue. The pace rises. Shots come quicker now, a cab racing through the night. A glass of wine spilling across a dress. A set of keys being thrown onto a counter. A camera flash at a glamorous event, freezing a moment of tension mid-smile. A door opening, someone stepping inside, but the screen cuts before their face is revealed. The music crescendos, urgent and unstoppable. Then silence again. A single heartbeat sound echoes. The screen fades into a slow-motion shot of the 4 women walking side by side across a busy Manhattan street. Their faces remain unseen, only their silhouettes illuminated by the glow of headlights and street lamps. Each step they take syncs with the pounding heartbeat. The narration lands, quiet but final, because in this city, endings are never endings. They're just the start of something new. The screen cuts to black. Suddenly, the sound of laughter breaks through, warm, familiar, comforting. The laughter of women who have survived everything together. The laughter that says, despite heartbreak, despite change, despite the unknown, they are still here. The title card bursts onto the screen in bold white letters, and just like Theta beat later, the subtitle appears below it. Season 4 2026, the music swells one last time, triumphant and glamorous. Before cutting to silence, the final whisper of narration echoes into the dark screen. And just like that, The story continues. The HBO Max logo appears simple and confident, accompanied by the tagline, "Coming 2026." The trailer ends,